Rosa's whole body froze at the sound of Guillem's warning. Guillem's stare followed her, even as she whispered numerous apologies under her breath.
Dude, his face is like, don't fuck with me today.
I'll take out your other eye.
I'm sorry. Damn,
Guillem just rolled his eyes, because he's
both
got two of them.
Yeah.
Oh. You are always seeking forgiveness for everything.
Am I? I'm sorry.
His hands struck the table in front of Rosa. In the quiet library, the sound rang uncomfortably in her ear. And yes, I did just punch the table. And that hurt.
If I punch the table, my microphone would go flying, so I'm just gonna not.
Do it! Done. When she looked up, Guillem's face was looming severely above hers. He moved closer to her, his eyes fixed on her intensely. Rosa's mouth hung open. She struggled to say something, but her wits were like the burning ends of a matchstick. Before she could compose herself, she felt Guillem's hand lift her chin.
Oh. Is this a bad or a good thing? I can't tell yet.
Rosa's heart went doki doki loudly inside her chest.
Shut up! Get out of here. Please don't. Not you too. Punish me.
She felt his breath on her face, and her heart sank into despair.
What's going on?
Mother's voice resounded in her head. In the end, they are all the same.
Wait, what? Wait.
Wait, what?
She felt his breath on her face and her heart sank into despair. My next line is she shut her eye and prepared herself for the worst.
Oh, well he is like everyone else. Now I've got your line. She shut her eye and prepared herself for the worst, like she always did when... Then she felt her face being turned from side to side. She opened her eye to see Guillem studying her face like a textbook. You are a fairly attractive girl. I've seen better.
Thanks.
Why do you carry yourself as if it is such a slight? He lifted the hair that hid her damaged eye.
Ew, gross.
Rosa clenched her teeth. Is it because you were hurt before? He said it so matter-of-factly, like he was stating that the sky was blue. Rosa recoiled from his touch.
No. I did that to myself. Don't admit to that.
I wasn't...
gonna sound crazy.
Awkward. Leave. I wasn't talking about your eye. He placed the book on the table. It was a thin pamphlet filled with letters. There were lines on the book that instructed the user to trace the letters with their quill. Rosa wanted to focus on it, but she could feel the truth in the Marquis's words stinging her. It was the way you went limp when I touched you. Next time, I advise you to fight back. If you don't want to be touched, then you don't have to be. Yeah, boy, you say it how it is. Do you understand this?
But...
Touch the butt.
I'm weak.
Says who? His eyes were humorless. The world does not care for people who think of themselves as victims, Rosa. If you need power, then be powerful. To have it, it is necessary to crush things along the way. Rosa flinched under the weight of his stare. She realized that the polite and courteous Guillem was but a facet. It was him, but it was nothing but an oil portrait, an artwork of his devising. Synthetic, aloof, and irrelevant. It couldn't capture his essence. Good God, what was that noise?
I was trying to... I put a can in a cup and I was trying to get it out and the cup fell. I'm sorry.
You fool.
I'm sorry.
Synthetic, aloof, and irrelevant. It couldn't capture his essence in a few human strokes. Suddenly, Rosa realized he was powerful. Who are you? She caught herself before saying it aloud. You are not Guillem. And yet... He spoke to her as if he knew what it was like to hurt and to fear. If you don't start acting like you own yourself, then people will not hesitate to take everything. He laid out the rest of the books he had brought out. One was an activity book for children. It had a picture of a child holding an apple with an arrow stuck in it. Another was a book of limericks.
What's a limerick? I don't even know.
Like little poems, like there once was a man from Kentucky who was a...
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The other two were thicker books that intimidated her. I think that's a limerick anyway. She would come to know them as Hamlet and Paradise Lost. Ooh, I like Hamlet, and Paradise Lost is also a good book. But Paradise Lost, written by Arthur Conan Doyle, I think. But the one that caught her eye was an ornately designed book. It had a beautiful red jacket with delicate gold trimmings lining the corners. I bet it's the Bible. Oh,
Nope.
pretty much.
Oh.
The gods and goddesses of Roman mythology.
Wait, why though?
Why not? You gotta get some Juno, you gotta get some Neptune, Pluto, all over that. This would be her favourite book, her treasure, and she knew it like love at first sight. These books are yours. Take them with you. Read the thin ones first, and then gradually build your vocabulary with the thicker ones. Rosa ran her hands over the skin of the red book. She opened the cover gingerly, as if carefully unwrapping a present.
Thank you.
No thanks needed. I simply showed you some books from a portion of a library you were unaware of.
You're still so generous, even if you are like this.
Like what?
I mean, a fucking bitch. That.
What?
That! Somewhat irritable?
I am not irritable! Guillaume didn't reply, leaving an awkward silence lingering between them. Then he gave a giant laugh that made Rosa jump out of her skin. Ha! I do look damn irritable, don't I?
Why? Is it because of Emily?
I have fleas. Guillaume's eyes drifted away. No. I've always been. You just pointed it out.
Oh. I like you less now. But you're not usually like this. Especially with Catherine and the townspeople.
I find it easy to adapt to people, especially to the ones I like. Guillaume looked at Rosa as if he had just become aware of her presence. Makes me wonder why I am so stern with you. I'm sorry. Rosa shook her head.
I somehow prefer the sight of you. I don't.
Guillaume cocked his head to the side. He brought out the green book that Rosa noticed earlier. This is called
Yes!
You called it. This is called a journal. When you learn to write, start one. Oh god.
What is it?
Something you can use to remember yourself when you've forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Does it work?
What do you mean, does it work? It used to. Nowadays, not anymore.
Oh, what?
Awkward. It's the only something about I remember. I skipped that by accident. Now, let's start with your vowels. A, E, I, O.
Jeez,
I have my sound turned quite low.
Dude! Holy crap!
A scream pierced the halls of the chateau.
That scared the crap out of me!
It was Catherine.
Damn it.
Guillaume sprinted to the door with Rosa not far behind.
Oh.
Pianos. Discordant. I think we have to click again. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Back in the piano room, Catherine took a shaky step towards her sister.
Did she kill her sister?
She wasn't moving at all.
Ugh.
Blood dotted the ivory keys.
Wait, oh my gosh, what? Blood?
Did she smash her head against it?
No, like, she wasn't moving at all, and then it goes to her line.
Oh, I don't know.
What's wrong with our games?
Yeah.
You have lines that I don't. Where are you?
I'm on Catherine saying I didn't.
Okay, I didn't. It was an accident. Emily? Oh god, what the fuck?
She was overcome with the urge to approach her sister and shake her awake. Make sure she was okay, but it was a nasty fall.
Air quote, fall. Emily?
Catherine saw the way her sister's head snapped back as it collided with the sharp corner of the piano. Ouch.
Oh.
She watched it all like a series of photographs in her head. She had to check on her, but her feet refused to move. Instead, she began to retreat into a corner. She didn't even notice her legs were moving until her forehead touched the wall.
Oh, I thought she was like backing into a corner, but no, she was walking
Yeah, so was I.
right into a corner.
She didn't want to turn around. Her sister was on the floor, and her shoe has been lost. She's only got 2 toes. Ew!
Oh, gross.
Her eyes were still open, unblinking. It was an accident. It was nothing but an accident. Was it? She pushed first. She got really scary.
Huh.
She strangled me. Do you have these lines?
Yeah, I think those are mine.
Oh. Okay, you can read it from now on. What? That's absurd. Are you sure? Would she do that? Okay, maybe... Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think she did.
Catherine touched her throat. It felt fine.
What? You?
That Paride girl? Emily, is it? She really believes just because the Marquis took her in that he's interested in her. Well, she's obsessed with the master. The apple doesn't fall far from a tree. Wasn't her mother a bit... you know, not right in the head?
Okay, whose mother is right in the head?
I don't know what's going on in this. It probably runs in the family.
God damn it.
Emily had looked mad. Her eyes had burned with malice for her, as she had closed her fingers around Catherine's neck. What the hell?
What the?
But she couldn't remember it. She couldn't remember if it had really happened. Sister was always kind to her. She would never, ever hurt her, even when they got into fights.
Okay,
Sister loved her.
Really creeping me out.
Those eyes. Dots.
Please go away. Am
I turning
mad? Oh, I thought that was mine.
No, that is you.
Okay. I have the blood of a mad woman. Am I going to end up like her? I only told her the truth. Graham doesn't care for her, and she doesn't even care for him that much either. Were her and Graham married?
No, Emily was married to someone else, remember? But she sort of wanted to, you know, ride Guillaume. And
Perfect way to put it.
Catherine's too young to be married to him. Well, she's not too young now, I guess, but she was at the time, and he was just, what's the word? Being a patron to her?
Oh, right. Okay. It was all just chaff, the relationship. No sense trying to make everyone else miserable, too. But she called me jealous and a bitch. How dare you?
It doesn't say bitch for me.
It doesn't?
No? Does it say it for you?
It says bitch for me.
It says cunt for me. What is with this? Did we make a different choice at some point and it's changed?
Hold on. I have my mature filter on. What if I push it off?
That will be why. I don't have mine on.
Yep, now it says cunt.
Yep.
I'm gonna change it back to bitch because I don't like that word. There we go.
But I'm leaving it.
She said they have decided to send me away. My lesson sent me home. The piano replaced. It was for my own... That horse is really sad now.
Ah, sold for nothing.
It was for my own good, she said. I don't have to travel here all the time. I can concentrate on my other what is that word?
Endeavors.
Endeavors, thank you. I didn't read the other one, oh god.
It says I can make new friends.
Yeah. But now she doesn't want me near the chateau or Guillaume. She hates it when I catch her with him. Perhaps this morning was the last straw. She hates it, but she also smirks at me when I see him. Like she basks in it. Bleh. I think I might hate her.
Catherine's thoughts ran through her head like a storm. They poured out of her aimlessly. Oh.
Wait a second. I think I know why we're getting different lines, because you have your mature filter off. Hold on. Boop.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we have the same settings. I wonder if the piano is broken. Am I going to pay for it? This is what you're thinking about right now? What will become of us without Sister's wages? What of Father's medicine? What of my dreams? Sister can't be dead. Sister can't be dead.
Catherine brought her fingers to her lips and nibbled on her thumb.
So this is when she went crazy and then killed herself.
Yeah. I don't think she killed herself yet.
She will. Look forward to it.
She didn't notice this. Her mind was preoccupied. She was in her corner of the wall, biting her fingers. It was a tiny comfort in a rapidly collapsing world. Guillaume opened the door and found Emily lying on the floor. An ugly gash broke the skin of her forehead. Facing the wall was Catherine, shivering like a leaf and viciously devouring one of her fingernails. He approached her cautiously. Catherine? Rosa was out of breath, but was still able to let out a gasp at the scene. Emily's lifeless eyes stared up at nothing while Catherine pressed herself into a corner. What had happened after she had left? Rosa, will you call for help, please? See that someone checks on Emily. Rosa did as she was told, but what she really wanted to do was hug Catherine herself. Guillaume took a small step towards her. He called out her name slowly, coaxingly. Catherine turned her head, her thumb still on her lower lip. The flesh was torn, and a smudge of scarlet painted her teeth.
Ew. It was an accident, I swear.
Of course it was, Catherine. Of course it was.
She pushed me first. She wanted to send me away. She wanted me gone.
You can tell me about it later. Let me take you away from this room.
What have I done?
You've murdered your sister. Catherine fell to her knees and wept. Large sobs sucked the air out of her. She felt like drowning, trying to keep herself afloat in between sobs. Every exhale was a squeezing pain in her lungs. She felt Guillaume's arms wrap around her.
What have I done? What have I done?
You didn't do anything, ma chérie. This is not your fault. There was a bitter bulge is such a funny word. There was a bitter bulge building up in her throat, and she felt that no amount of crying could push it back down.
What am I going to do? Father is sister. I'm so scared. So scared.
Guillaume's arms wound tighter around her, and she clutched onto his warmth in this vast sea of fear. You don't have to be. I will always be by your side. Catherine, I will take care of you and your father, all right? You don't have to worry about your future. Her tears soaked his shirt through, but the squeezing in her chest felt less painful.
Why? Why do you do this? Why do you care so much for me?
Guillaume's brows furrowed, as if confused that she even asked. I just do. It was a boldly stated fact, as if painfully obvious, as if Catherine was a fool for not knowing it. It made Catherine's heart expand in her ribs. When she looked back, she would recall this as the moment she fell in love with him.
What a terrible moment to fall in love with somebody.
I know.
Your dead sister's
you
over
killed
there.
your sister.
Yeah. Oh, well,
The look in his eyes was reassuring and strong. She wasn't alone. She was going to be all right. Let's get you away from here. He supported her arms and stood her up, careful to block the view of her sister from her eyes. He led her to the door. Catherine hated how fast her relief came. She was still drenched in sorrow at her sister's death. Her father would not take well to the news, especially in his health. But she was all right, and she hated it.